But you know what? I see Joel. He's standing on the other front of the, so if I look at you, Bill, Joel is right behind you. So turn around and look behind you. Why don't I bring Joel into the frame here? Hey, Joel.
Hey.
Awesome to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks. Have a seat. And so let me just introduce what's going on here. So you can see yourself and you can see myself. So there's an online viewer, Bill, who's in Winnipeg right now.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Joel.
And so we were talking yesterday when you and I just talked briefly on the phone that how do you pronounce your last name?
Well, in Winnipeg, they pronounce it Kroeker because 300 years ago there was an umlaut. But on the West Coast, they say Kroeker.
That's exactly. So you pronounce your name Kroeker out here.
I say Kroeker everywhere I go.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Okay, well, that makes me feel like a little bit of home because I spent 34 years living in Winnipeg. So
that's a lot of winters.
That's a lot of winters. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to tell you that was an awesome presentation. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. And how do you find, like, how do you reconcile everything that's going on in our world right now, which is turning our perspective kind of inside out? Like, does that come into play in your world or in what you do or how you think, how you approach things?
Well, it concerns me, what's going on in the world. Yeah. And I actually think that just, this is part of where my talk came from, is that if people knew that their mind was actively, doing a creative act on them all the time, and if we just kind of notice that actually would make a difference on a personal level, one person at a time, knowing what our minds are doing. And I have this naive, hopeful notion that would make a difference collectively. It's kind of the tipping point. If enough people are aware of what their mind is actually doing from moment to moment, they can start getting involved and participating in the decisions that they make, as opposed to just being, robotically dragged around by habits of mind.
So let's go to yesterday, and we hear Scaramucci come on and all this stuff. How do we? What's the trick that we can use to kind of change our perspective of what's going on?
It's a complex sort of question because there's a lot of minds involved, right? There's the mind that's watching the news.
Yep.
I was thinking about this today. Actually, I have a habit of watching the news. I read the Guardian and I check the news sources that I like to trust.
Yep.
But it actually exposes my mind to. It puts my mind in a weird place, like kind of drags my mind through a scary, dangerous place and I start to feel a little suspicious as I'm sitting there eating breakfast, reading through all these things that everybody's doing.
Yep.
And I started to think, do I really want to expose my mind to this, right now?
Yep.
And I actually turned it off. I'm not saying we always have to turn off the news, but it was kind of like, I don't have to expose myself. I'm going to just titrate. A homeopathic dose of like check in. Okay, yep, that's what's going on.
Is there such a thing as a homeopathic dose of
1/1000th of the news, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But maybe there's some local, maybe we get inspiration from looking at it, feeling a lot, feeling a lot of emotion about it and maybe, frustration and all this. And then maybe we get some inspiration, but we have to put our mind in places where inspiration exists.
Yep.
And for me, it doesn't exist when I'm inundating myself with the news.
Yep.
That's not an inspiring place for me.
No,
so I have to touch in and then go to a place where I can, the natural world,
exactly.
And put my mind in its natural state, boundless freedom.
Yeah.
That's where I get the inspiration.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So it's a balance.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, how is the audio coming in? Can you hear both of us?
I can hear you. It still sounds like there's a lot of background noise.
There's a lot of background noise. But you're able to hear
it's
Joel,
all in your mind.
It's all in your
mind, Bill. It's all this background noise.
Yeah.
So did you have any questions of Joel, Bill?
Oh, sure. Well, actually, I'd love to be sitting there with you guys right now, maybe even with a scotch, and we can talk about this for several hours. But I've spent a fair amount of time, in my university years, reading up on, a lot of the same concepts that you were talking about today. And what kind of kept coming back for me is, so I was curious how you would solve the question of if we are involved in creating our reality, right? The process of perception is a creative process. It's not just a passive process.
Yeah.
Then what does that mean for questions about truth and fact, you made reference to some particular newsworthy folks a couple minutes ago, and I've actually stopped watching all news related to the President of the United States, just because I cannot stand.
Hey, Bill, can you speak up just a little bit?
You can't hear me? Okay. So it's a long preamble, but my question is really how do you then how do you keep it from just resolving into mere relativism?
Yeah, I think that's a really big question. In a way, the scientific materialistic stories that we call facts and objective truth nowadays is just another mythology, right? I mean, like if we're thinking historically, and I'm sure you know that. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if we take the large meta view, right now we're really fascinated with the brain, right? I would say overly fascinated, even though it's an amazing, chunk of 3 pounds of material, but actually it takes the focus off of experience. And I would say my answer to you personally is that I focus more on my experience. I don't have a neurologist with me at every moment to tell me, like, what's the amygdala doing right now, Joel? I actually just focus on my experience of the situation. So when I check the news, for example, and I get that wallop of sadness, I let that wallop of sadness speak to me more than how they vetted the news.
Sure.
My wallop of sadness is actually a greater authority for me personally, and I give it more credence, and I go with that. And I think that that is a way to go back home. It's a way to return home, because we carry our feelings and our, the reality of our inner world with us everywhere we go. So that's how I do it. I balance more of the inner world. I think it's like inner and outer world. Right now, the outer world seduces us and sucks us out of ourselves. We want to just get out there and try to help and fix, and we get overwhelmed. But actually, our inner worlds have it's like an infinite amount of resource. So I would say to you as an analyst, as a Jungian analyst, I would say to you, your own dreams, your own fantasies, your own feelings, thoughts, emotions, your own responses, that's where you're going to get your answer. Don't let that go. That's your authority.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
I know that if you moved your camera ever so slightly that way, there'd be a guitar that would show up the other way. The other way. Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, that looks nice. What is that, Bill?
It's a Collings.
Oh, wow.
U2H. It's basically it's hand built in Texas, and it's better than a Martin.
It's better than a Martin. Well. Can't say that about very many things.
No, that's true. You can't.
That's awesome. So it has got nice rich tone and.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Very good.
So tell us about
play it right now, though.
Joel. You're actually incorporate music into your therapy, right? So how do you or into your thinking? How does that work?
Well,
because Bill, I've known Bill for quite a while, and he's one of the most well-balanced people I know, and I think that guitar in the back wall has something to do with it. So.
Oh yeah, the guitar is resonating there in that room.
Absolutely.
My training has basically led.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I've lost. Your feed has now frozen.
Oh, now yours is frozen. Yeah.
So we're frozen to you.
You're back now.
You're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't this how it works, right? We're frozen to you, then we're fluid and open, and then we're frozen again, and it's all just. I would say music is a place where it's like a third entity in the psychoanalytic interaction. That's how I look at it. Is there's the patient and the analyst, and then there's the music can be a third, entity there.
Wow.
And that alone, that image alone, it turns 1 to 1, 2 into 3, into a triangular sort of a situation.
Really?
So it's, I actually have an empty chair in my therapy room. So there's 3 chairs, me and the patient, and then another chair, and then lots of instruments. And we improvise together when it works for certain kinds of therapy. Wow. We improvise together, and we record that, and we listen back, and we let the inner world express itself through sound. Wow. And a lot of, like I was just saying to you, Bill, a lot of what actually shows up as the value of the work comes straight out of the client's musical expression.
Wow.
So,
Well, I've just got a banjo. My wife, for my most recent birthday,
Yeah.
which has 2 digits in it that are the same, and I'm not going to tell you what that
I'll have to
digit
figure
is.
that out.
Yeah. But you just got me a banjo, and I've never played an instrument before in my life. And I picked up the banjo, and just it's an open G, and just strummed it, and I thought, oh my goodness, here's a completely other way to express it, and it actually felt like it was coming right from somewhere deep inside me that the vocal cords just can't reach.
Yeah.
So I can imagine how that would be a powerful thing in your therapy. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's interesting, right? Music is like a place, it's like a dream kind of space, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of inner and outer. It has an external, other people can hear it, but it can also be a direct expression of what's going on inside. Even just fast, slow, loud, soft. That's a matrix.
Yep.
You know, and you can see sort of where you are on that matrix with how you express.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, I'm going to let you go because I know other people out there in the crowd are looking forward to meeting you. But I just wanted to say again, good job. Well done.
Thank you.
And I'll look forward to talking with you later on this week.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Nice to meet you, Bill.
Hey, nice to meet you too, Joel.
See ya.